Hi guys, welcome back to another installment. Professor Charles is live in the building today. And finally, like literally yesterday, I don't know what was happening. I just could not for the life of me get this whole thing going with the review. So today we're doing Stargirl, episode titled Hourman and Dr-Midnite. Yes, sir, I'm back with another episode of it. So pretty much in this episode, this takes place 9 years later, where we see the Tyler family, which is Hourman, his wife, and his son. In this episode, we see that pretty much they were getting out of town. And it was very interesting because we see that their survivor, most of the Justice Society was killed off. We see the Tyler family kind of like, hey, it's time to go. And we see also that Hourman has some type of chemical formula. When I looked at it, I was like, he must have been a pretty darn good chemist. That's what I got from it. Because it had a science formula on there. In this episode, we see this is 9 years in Blue Valley. And we also see the family leaving their son behind, and Tyler pretty much being the one left behind. Rex, his father, and his mother, saying their goodbyes and leaving them with the brother. I don't know whose brother it is, but it's the brother to one of their family members. Is the brother, and the brother's like 50,000. I'm assuming it's pretty much the wife's brother because the way he acted, he did not want that responsibility. But $50,000, I would have took that responsibility. You know what I'm saying? But we can see he's a little frustrated. He's like, you guys are coming back? He's like, yeah. So they head off to the road. And who is it that kills them off? Solomon Grundy. I cannot wait to see him in a full episode, But also in this episode, we see, this is the flashback episode. But it's not like Arrow. That's one thing I love about Stargirl. It's not like too flashbacky. Sometimes you'll get a show and it's like flashback, flashback, flashback. Not with Stargirl. Thank you, the producer of Doom Patrol. You did a great job with not doing too many flashbacks with this. You give us some of it at the beginning, and we understand what leads to next. So, in this episode, we see Courtney. Courtney's a high schooler, freshman. And what do usually freshmen do? Sometimes they oversleep. Typical, right? So her mother's like, get dressed, and we see the dog. Her brother scares her too, literally, before her mother comes in the room. We also see the dog playing with some of the items that she got from the headquarters of the Justice Society of America. The goggles and some of the other things. And I guess Courtney feared that if her mother went in her closet, because her mother's like, yo, your room's a mess, that pretty much all those items would be discovered and Pat would be pissed off that she took all these items and are recruiting heroes, her own little heroes that are supposed to be the new Justice Society. But the good thing about this is she was smart about it. She knew that she could not keep the items at the house, especially with Pat being a sidekick that he is, and he would figure it out. But he was a little paranoid. I thought he almost busted her. I was like, uh-oh, busted. But that did not happen. She's like, oh, I'm putting this in my gym bag and stuff. She gave some little crazy excuse. And literally, her and Yolanda, also known as Wildcat, the other hero that she hired to help her out, they pushed this big old bag in a locker. You know how it is in high school when sometimes your locker didn't have enough room, so you made some room, so you pushed jam stuff in there sometimes, and you're just like, why did I jam this in there? Knowing good and well it could get messed up. And Yolanda's like, why did you bring the items here? She's feared that her mother, Courtney feared that her mother pretty much would find the items, and also Pat's identity would have been revealed. You know what I'm saying? Because Pat is Stripe, okay? One thing I did like about this episode, we learn a little bit more of what the Injustice Society is. So pretty much the ISA is a part of it too. I'm like, dang, bro, ISA. Okay, I see y'all, ISA. Also with this, we see Tyler having issues with his uncle. And we can understand that because that's not his real father. So he's kind of like, yeah, my mother left you in charge to be my guardian type of thing. And that's understandable. If that's not your actual biological parent, of course, there's going to be tension. Yes, that's his uncle, but they don't see quite eye to eye in this episode. And I love that Tyler's he puts me in mind of Batman a little bit, where they had the scene where he visits his parents' site where they were killed at in a car accident, which he thinks it is, apparently. But also, we see in this episode another villain. And apparently, I was wrong. It's the Fiddler. It's not Shade. The Fiddler is the one that Courtney and Wildcat came across with the violin. I thought it was a new version of Shade, because you know how DC does with certain things, certain items, they change up for characters. But one thing I loved about this episode was Yolanda and her going to recruit heroes. We see that pretty much they wanted Artemis. That's one thing I forgot to talk about. Artemis was in this episode. So Artemis will definitely be in this season of Stargirl. I don't know how major of a role she's going to play this season. If she's not a major role in this season, being like the anti-hero or something like that, I wouldn't be surprised she'll be in season 2. But that Artemis is in it. Her sister we saw in the second episode, and also Sportsmaster. So that's confirmed now. Okay. But in this episode, we also see Pat trying to do a cover-up. He's a sidekick, but he needs to figure out a job. So he's pretty much the mechanic. That's how he's trying to figure out what's going on within Blue Valley. And since he's left, and he thinks that pretty much Icicle Sr. has killed off Wizard's family. Makes complete sense when you really think about it, because when Pat went to the junkyard in the previous episode, there was nothing to be found in the car. The car was all smashed up. And I think Icicle did. Icicle is not that type of villain that's just going to sit there and let you live. He's like, look, I'm going to get the job done. I'm out of here. That's going to be it. But also we see that Pat is like, he actually honestly taking Courtney's side, also known as Stargirl. We see that. But also in this episode, we see Beth. Beth is the girl that sits at the table with Courtney that we've seen in a couple episodes. And Beth has found out the secret. Not just the Wildcat, but also Stargirl. She was there when they went to the hospital to visit Brainwave. And also Henry's father, which is their classmate. Beth, I like Beth. Beth is the black nerd girl, or black blurred, as you could call her. I like Beth. Beth is a very curious person. She's kind of like the brains to the group. You know what I'm saying? Every hero has a different distinctive thing. I think with her it's like knowledge and brains. But I love when she got the goggles for Dr-Midnite. It was very funny because she's like, you're talking in third person. And it's funny because it reminds me of the Iron Man, you know what I'm saying? Jarvis, the program with the goggles, it reminds me of that because it analyzes everything and it talks to you. It's like a little like voice assistant. I was like, that is so cool. And she freaked out, you know what I'm saying, when she found the goggles, because she actually went over Courtney's house and lied to her mother saying she was a friend. And Courtney's like, what are you doing here? And I was like, everyone has that one person in high school that's like that. They, it's not to say that they weren't your friend, but then eventually they become your friend. But they do the most like awkward things to make things awkward. You're just like, what's going on? I did like her personality. She's very cunning, very smart. The black hero or Heroine. But yes, Beth was on to both Yolanda and Courtney. And it was funny when Stargirl tried to deny it, and she used the goggles. She's like, you are Stargirl. But also in this episode, we see Tyler's frustration, thinking that his parents were just killed in a car crash, and that was it. To find out the culprit pretty much was Solomon Grundy. And literally, Dr-Midnite had to show him that. She's like, look, your parents were killed, by this, and she showed the hologram area. I thought that's very neat. That's what I said, similar to like Jarvis, like Iron Man type of thing. Also we see, like I said, the pretty much the other villain that they saw in the last episode. Yes, her using the violin. You know what I'm saying? I was like, whoa, that violin is deadly. It can control you and everything. We also see that Solomon Grundy will be returning. Yes, this episode was action packed. I loved what they did with Tyler. Tyler eventually gives in. He did not want to be Hourman at first, but you see that he had a change of heart, you know what I'm saying, once he found out what really happened. But I think it took some convincing because he was angry. He was frustrated not seeing his parents, and growing up with his uncle is different from your actual parents. You know what I'm saying? And Courtney saying, look, my dad was Starman and all that stuff. So she understood, she empathized with him. And I thought that was very interesting that you see that. Whereas in some shows with superheroes, it's kind of like cliche certain things they do, but you can see her reasoning with Tyler. And I was like, you got, and I like his powers are very interesting. It's an hourglass and he flips it. And it was interesting. I guess like it kind of pretty much like when he touches things or punches things, it's kind of like you can see like a I guess like a glow to it. I'm assuming that's what I got from it. And how he damages it. I'm waiting to see how he's gonna use the hourglass more. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting there like, I guess y'all saving this for the next episode. But I think Stargirl is on the road to be another decent DC show. I'm glad that the producers of Doom Patrol was behind this show. Like I said, I was not happy with Supergirl. Batwoman, I couldn't get through the first episode for the life of me. But I think Stargirl is definitely building up to be another decent show because it gives you a story. It's not the same cliché type of story. And the characters are very engaging. You learn about the other characters from the past. Guys, you tell me what you think. Did you enjoy the latest episode of Stargirl? You tell me in the comments. Your boy, Professor Charles is live. And have a wonderful day, guys. This is the final vlog for today. I'm out.